Good morning and rise and grind. I think it's time for us to hurry up and start getting this project knocked out so we can get the skyline in here and start working on that. Let me just put this tea down real quick. It's a big glass of tea. It ain't beer. Don't worry, it's too early for that. So yeah, we are going to start breaking things down more simpler. This is more for, I guess, a DIY. So it's not overwhelming. We are going to break it down by stages like I usually do, especially when you have a small facility or a small garage or a small workspace. It's easier to break things down in stages and just knocking it out, throwing it to the side, knocking it out, throwing it to the side, so it's not overwhelming. So yeah, let's hurry up and get started on that so I can get done and hang out with the fam. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Hold on. So the problem with working so early in the morning, starting this car up, the cold start is insanely loud. It's freaking loud. It's a 5.0 V8. Any of you car guys know that's a big engine, and it is a muscle car with the full exhaust and no Cadillac converters on there. It is loud. So let's piss off the neighbors right now. Hopefully the camera caught the sound on that, and you guys can see how loud it is for a cold start. So we're gonna hurry up and get this turned off right now, and we are gonna get started trying to hurry up and get work done so we can hang out with the fam and just relax on a weekend, you know. So I'm gonna turn the camera around. I'm gonna decide to start on the front bumper first, since it's the most gouged up, messed up, look like Wolverine got to it. And we'll just start knocking it out in stages. So we'll get everything set up right now, and I'm gonna throw it on time lapse, so just me setting it up, and then we'll break it down. All right, let's get started. I think first things first, before we get started on sanding or doing any kind of work to this, we are gonna have to remove everything on this, which is the fog lights and grill. I'm not going to show you guys how to do it, just showing you what I'm doing in my process. We're going to be removing all that. So we got the boys over here scrubbing it down, cleaning up, pre-prepping before we could start sanding. And Viren, you want to tell them what we're doing?
Spraying a window cleaner and cleaning all the grime off.
All the dirt and grime, yep. We always got to get it all clean before we start anything, like Windex or window cleaner. We are going to break it down with the alcohol after this and then start. And that guy over there barely working. He's trying to look busy, Vincent. You don't get paid. So now that the boys got this all wiped down and cleaned with the water-based cleaner or the window cleaner, we are going to have our own little pre-mix of alcohol and a little bit of water in there. 75-25 is what I like to use, and I'm going to spray it down, and the boys are just going to give it a good clean. This will clean anything that's probably silicone base. Water won't clean the silicone base. It just cleans road grime, bird crap, you know, stuff like that. And this will be the stuff that breaks down waxes and silicone and all that stuff we don't want, stuff from like a tire shine. All right, boys, go ahead and clean it up. So yeah, now it's time to get started. I'm gonna break down exactly what I'm doing. The majority of the damage is done beneath the bumper. Of course, you know, hits the speed bump, could be rocks and gravel, whatever. Mainly speed bump, I'm thinking. And from here up towards the top, it's not terribly bad. It's got rock chips and all that, but not terrible deep rock chips. So I'm hoping we can knock this whole upper area out with 320, and so we don't have to get too crazy with it. But down here, most definitely, we'll have to use 180 to maybe even 80 grit and do some body work. You can see there's like indentations everywhere. This kid probably hit all kinds of shit. Probably hit a raccoon, hit bricks in the freaking freeway or something, because it is bad. Bad, bad. Alright, we are all sanded, and in fact you didn't see me put any filler on. So the filler I used, they just had little rock chips. So what I would like to use is polyester glaze putty. It's a 2-part. You mix them together and it sands easy, and it's really good for stuff like this. You don't want to use that kind of stuff for any structural stuff. You can feel it, see, like you had little scratches. We filled it up right there and sanded it down. So when we primer, it would be good to go. The bottom was sanded. It sanded really nice. Did it with 120, knocked all the gouges evenly, and whatever that was left behind, it was too deep, like really light like this. We just filled it up with polyester glazing putty. Little small area, not too bad. They're all repaired, but yeah, stuff like that. I like to use that for smaller things that's non-structural. In fact, we still gotta fill this one up. It's a little bit low spot right there. You can see it and actually feel it. But I think I got a few more things to go, and I will show you how I fix these holes on the plastic bumper. So let's get at that right now. So I was going to use a 2-part epoxy for this, but Toyota Lexus bumpers, I really like the material they're made out of. Somewhere on here it says PP. I believe that's polypropylene. That's the material that's made out of. I think it's polypropylene, one of those. But it works really good with this Harbor Freight. They call it a weld plastic repair kit. All it is just a heating iron and a filler element. And you pretty much just heat this area up, the backside, just heat it up a bit, and then you trying to get the filler to fuse with the heated surface. We just heat it up and just slide it in there just to fill it up like that. And you just got to keep doing it slowly. Yeah, but this stuff from Harbor Freight, I really do like this for the Lexus and Toyota bumpers. It really sticks. For like the Honda bumpers, the older Hondas, it doesn't stick very well. I'm not sure what kind of plastic the older ones are, but it doesn't stick really well like this right here. And we are just slowly filling those holes in. The heat is just fusing both of the material together. They say it's welding, but it's just a heating iron. It's fusing it together. 2 plastics together. 2 plastics that are compatible to heat up and stick together. Alright, we should go check that backside out and see. Yep. Yeah, see, just like that. That's the backside. We want it thick back there because you want it to have some sort of a structure back there, a backing, so it's thicker. And right here, you can see it just sticks out just a bit right there. And we are just going to heat that up and fuse it with the front. So I already had flattened out the little area that's sticking out through the hole, and I'm just kind of blending it in. Don't breathe this stuff. Stuff ain't good for you. Anything's plastic that's melting or smoking is not good for you. Just gonna fill it up a little more, and then we're just gonna sand it down with some 80 grit. And we probably will finish it off with a little glazing putty just for the finesse part of it. Yeah, I really like working with the Toyota Lexus bumper. Its stuff works really nice with this. It's very compatible. All I'm doing is ironing it out, smoothing it out, just finessing it in there. All right, let's try to give that a grind. We're gonna try a little 80 grit on there and see if we can knock it out smooth. All right, let's get a closer look. The hole is gone and is completely plugged, and I'm pushing on the backside where the hole is usually at. You can see if you want to test it out and see if it's weak or not, you push on the back end where the hole used to be, and you would see it flare up or flex out, which means it's not fusing together. But right now I'm pushing it and I can't even see it bubbling up back there or nothing. But yeah, it is good to go. I believe we're gonna finesse this and smooth this out right here a bit and use glazing putty just to fill up the really tiny pinholes in there, and we are good to go for primer, and the bumper should be good. And just like that, the front bumper is actually done now. Sorry I did not get a video of me applying the polyester glazing putty. I applied a very thin layer just to fill up the little micro scratches in there from the 180, and it is looking good. In fact, it is so thin. This is not thick, this is a thin layer. You can see right through it in the back shadowing of the plastic where we did the repair. That's how thin it is. The polyester is there just to kind of level any little micro scratches or imperfections out. It's not meant for high build and structure. So we finish it off with 320 on plastic, just because on plastic it likes to fray when you do 180 and lower. It gets kind of plastic hair or a little furry feeling. So 320 is the best I like to do, especially on this bumper. It's actually nice. It's not going to show through the primer as much. But yeah, that's ready to go, and check out the other side as well. All done. We are pretty much going to set this to the side, and we are going to jump straight to the rear bumper. That one should not be as much work. It should not be. I see spider webbing from little paint cracks all the way through. That's probably the worst part of it. We'll see once we get into that. So let's get at that right now. So that about wraps it up for the rear bumper. I think we are completely done, and I'm not going to make a video of me throwing this in a primer because this is taking a lot of time on the video as is, just for 2 bumpers. Hold on. Yeah, it's taken a lot, maybe about a day and a half worth of work. It's taken a lot of time, and the video is getting way too long. I don't want to do that, so I'm turning the camera around. Hold on. So in the time lapse, you can see I had applied a thin layer of polyester glazing putty. The reason for that, there was damage right here. I had reversed one night into my cousin Tommy, aka TK, reversed into a CRV and left his little license plate bolt indentation, and it left a little crease here. Wasn't bad, you couldn't see it, but as I sanded the paint back, I can feel something weird. So I thought I'd bridge it over with a little thin layer of polyester. Don't worry, this stuff is flexible. You just can't have it thick, like I said earlier. And the areas right here too had a little weird divot. They called it an asshole. Whoever sanded it before left a little divot. And I thought primer could fill it up, but I was like, you know what? I'll just add just super thin layer. You can see right there, that's a low spot. A little thin layer of that, and primer should take care of that. But it's not even important because this also gets covered with the rear diffuser. Hold on. Gets covered with this. I think that's what had happened. Someone had double-sided it, and then they grinded it off and left a low spot. But yeah, majority of that gets covered anyways. Hold on, put that down. I am tired. All right, I think we're gonna end this video and call it quits. So that's gonna be the end of these bumper area. I'm not gonna get it in primer in video. I'm just gonna get it in primer because you know what? Like I said, it's taking way too long on this video, and I don't want to bore you with just 15 minutes worth of work. Well, 15 minutes worth of video of me on the bumper, which I'd say this probably took 7-8 hours, maybe, give or take. So you guys have a good one. Take it easy. Catch you guys later.